This pumpkin bed. It's kind of jungle-esque. We've had a couple of the beetles that just eat the leaves. So far, I haven't seen any signs of vine borers. There's marigolds planted throughout. I did notice that I have this weird colony of ants that's living in the pumpkin leaves. And there's mating ants because they have wings. It's so big and so beautiful and lots of fun. And then in here, the hammock that has been surrendered to the assassin bug. We harvest the garlic and onions out of there. All the baby garlic that was coming off the garlic, I replanted, so we'll see what happens there. I think it's too early, but I wanted to experiment. We cut off all the garlic and onion scapes to try to get some more seed, and I want it to just kind of be a regenerative crop in there. It's a lavender in the center of it. This is an elderberry in the pot that died and has come back, so we're needing to find places for that. Love bugs or June beetles, I don't know what everybody calls them, but they're in force, so I'm kind of leaving some of the native weeds to take over. This is the only corner in the garden that is prone to blackberries, and I'm wondering if I want to keep them here. This originally was where I had lettuce growing because it's so shaded, and the lettuce didn't do as well as I wanted. It just kind of gets overgrown and forgotten. This entire bed has been left to the wilds. I've got the Carolina horse nettle is flowering. I need to get that pulled up. There's random tomatillos that have popped up. This Kelway chamomile, which that's what that is something I planted and it has spread through my entire garden. Jonah's tomato plant and tiny little tomatillos all over the place. That's a tomatillo. The strawberries seem to just be setting runners right now. I haven't seen any strawberries in a bit. This bed, I'm excited to see what happens. So we've got in the cages are our San Marzano tomatoes. And there are little basils in between. So that's a basil. And then there's squash and sunflowers. This is a little sunflower, but then there's a bigger sunflower. So behind each of the cages is a sunflower, and in between the cages is a summer squash, another chamomile that was a volunteer, but some of these sunflowers are getting some damage from those beetles. They just are indiscriminate and eat everything. They typically love the trees more, and so I haven't made a huge deal about it. Apparently they really like the lettuce leaf. That's lettuce leaf basil, and then there's like a sweet basil. Marigolds. I've got, I think that was a collard. This has kind of gone wild. There's one lone onion over there. Collards that I let go to seed, and they're about ready to harvest the seed. Cilantro that I went to seed, and I'm trying to let it mostly brown. I'll probably have to pull these to hang them in the barn. There's another coriander or cilantro over there. And I want to get a bunch of more cilantro in the ground before we leave so that I have cilantro in the heat of the summer. And then these were tomatillos, most of which were volunteers that we transplanted. We're hoping to make kind of a teepee with tomatillos this year. And this is my tomato row. We'll go down both sides. These are a lot of like the more heirloom slicers. Then they get kind of intermixed. I think there's some Rickers, lots of snack size. I put peppers in front of them since they don't get as tall. And rosemary, another pepper, nasturtium pepper, nasturtium pepper. I've got still ground cherries and tomatillos that need to be rehomed. More peppers. The peppers and the tomatoes kind of all just got mixed up, but this was more of like a cayenne style pepper. There's some bell peppers. Apparently a feather on my tomato. The black strawberry tomatoes, that's what this plant is right here, is as always so prolific and the first to get any fruit. They're just not my favorite to eat, but I like to have them to fill in. I'm going to go through and also clear a lot of these bottom branches, weed this week, sage, pots that have green onions that have gone to seed, and volunteer Kelway chamomile. I've got a few more San Marzanos I still need to put in. I just don't have space for them. I have some morning glories that one of them actually already bloomed that need to go in. I'm thinking to put them over here. So yeah, this side the peppers are doing a lot better. These were supposed to be the Purple Beauty peppers, and last year we just harvested them all yellow because I didn't remember what they were. So I'm trying to see if some of these will go to purple before we leave. But yeah, the peppers on this side do really, really well. I don't know why they're not doing so well on the other side. Just this side of that. This was a kale that had gone to seed that I'm again letting dry, and then we'll harvest that this week to continue to let dry in the barn. A couple more peppers, pots from transferring. This row will just go down the center. This side is melon, so watermelon and cantaloupe and lots of weeds that I'm hoping will kind of vine out and fill that side out. I planted a bunch of cucumbers over here, and only a handful have survived, but there's dill. And I think I did 5 types of cucumber. This kale is like, it's a dinosaur kale, and it's gone to seed several times, but it's still real tender, and it actually just started leafing again, so I'll be able to get kale here real soon. I'm hoping when we get back from our road trip that these cucumbers will be tall enough to trellis. This is the 3rd summer for that oregano, and it is beautiful. It's gone to flower. I still just harvest it when I need oregano. But that's our garden. It's a hot mess right now, but I feel like that's just summer gardening. I do still have down on the porch, I still have the green stalks that have strawberries, green onions. I've got celery that's going to seed that I'm going to harvest the seed and hope that once I cut the seed back, I can harvest, come again for the celery. There's a few like green onions. I've got a lot of stuff still in pots that I need to get in the ground. We did lose all 4 of our chicks that we hatched last. And this yard we've got closed off to the sheep. It's nice to have them in there in the winter to give them one more square footage to eat from, but right now it's just we're trying to get them to clear out the back. Let's see, what do I have up here? Again, this is a huge mess. I'm trying to get everything cleaned up before we leave for camping. This was a fairy garden blend. I'm assuming I need to fertilize it because I haven't really seen them do much. These were strawberries. There's a few strawberry. And there's marigolds on top. There's actually one that's starting. That was, again, something too densely packed. These were from Easter as a school project for the kids. These are starting to run set runners too. So yeah, that one's mostly strawberries with some onions apparently that are getting overtaken by aphids again. I always have this problem, so if anybody knows what to do about aphids taking your green onions, here's the forever tall celery that I need to harvest the seeds from. We've got salad greens, mint. I actually just pulled the mint up from a friend's house and transplanted it. This one, I want to say that this is the strawberry spinach, but I know I planted it, I just don't remember what it is. Parsley that's gone to seed. Everything in the grain stock goes to seed quicker because it's going to get hotter in the summer. Some more green onions. Yeah, this one just is kind of a sad. A lot of times, like the green onions, I'll take the green onions that I get from market when those ones have been in there for a while outside. They're dead. They'll go to the chickens, but I'll just plant them in an empty hole, and then they'll continue to produce green onions for me. So there's our Easter project that the flowers came from. Mine is not doing well. Obviously, the spiders can kind of taken over the succulents of what's kind of left of those. But that's our garden. I've got basil that was supposed to be inside that never got taken inside and gone to seed. That was another flower mix that actually came from one of the kids' school books. That is Swiss chard, weeds, some more random plants that haven't been. Got zinnias I need to put in. I've got more marigolds to put in, more peppers. The Anaheims, we started those late, that's why those haven't gone out. Tulsi, so that's a type of basil. This is a type of basil. I just need to go find holes by the tomatoes for those. Love in the Mist, that was a flower that I've tried to grow twice now, and this is the first time they've done anything. Some strawberries, unnamed strawberries. Oh, I think those were Jonah's strawberries. Unnamed cucumber melon situation. Yeah, and there's our little chickies. That biggest one, that brown one right there, is the one we hatched first. We call her the mama of that one. We call Mama. She's the only one that seems to be super attached to any of the chickens. And then we've got 4 sapphires and 2 Americanas in there. So I'm excited to see where we go with that. And we'll probably move this coop situation into this yard behind it, just to give it a little more protection. The problem with this coop is they dig holes, and that's how all the babies were getting out, is they would find holes and get out. Probably more to get away from them, and we probably should have had them separated better, but it is what it is. We live, we learn. The chickens do not stay in any of the yards. They kind of do their own thing, which has proved to be interesting for our garden. But yeah, garden tour, June 2024.